You've been taught that energy is a spiritual idea. That's the illusion. Energy isn't some mystical force reserved for enlightened gurus. It's the fundamental fabric of existence, the very foundation upon which every breath, thought, and experience is built. And there's a book, unjustly obscured by time and deliberate agendas, that unveils the secrets to consciously shaping this energy, the Corpus Hermeticum. It isn't a collection of archaic myths. It's a practical guide encoded in symbolic language, a manual concealed within allegories. But when you learn to decipher its wisdom, an undeniable truth resonates. It's not about blind faith. It's about masterful direction, not controlling others, but mastering the single most vital element: your internal vibrational state, your energetic footprint, the unique signal you project into the universe. This is the knowledge carefully guarded from you because once you realize that your reality is sculpted from the inside out, no external system, authority, or framework can hold sway over you. The reality is you are already a radiant being. The pivotal question is, are you radiating unconsciously or with deliberate intention? The greatest deception ever perpetrated was convincing you that energy is an intangible, abstract concept, accessible only through spiritual devotion, that it's somehow ethereal, unverifiable, beyond your grasp. Yet you've sensed it throughout your life. You simply haven't been taught to recognize its true nature. That subtle unease you experience upon entering a room with a discordant atmosphere even before a word is spoken, that electrifying sensation that courses through you when someone's gaze meets yours across a crowded space, the profound sense of comfort you feel in another's presence without any verbal exchange. These aren't mere coincidences or inexplicable feelings. They are the language of energy, a system you are innately wired to perceive, but systematically discouraged from understanding. And here lies the heart of the manipulation. You were nurtured in a world that champions logic, rote memorization, and ceaseless productivity. You were conditioned to prioritize intellect over intuition, reason over feeling, to dismiss anything that couldn't be measured with scientific instruments or quantified on a balance sheet. You were subtly programmed to view the body as a biological machine and energy as New Age nonsense. But what if this conditioning wasn't impartial? What if stifling your natural energetic awareness was a calculated strategy? Because the truth is undeniable. You are a constant transmitter. You are continuously broadcasting with every fleeting thought, every measured breath, every subtle emotion. Your internal landscape is not confined within you. It emanates outward into what the Hermetic sages referred to as the field or the cosmic current. And that field, ethereal as it may seem, responds not to what you outwardly profess, but to what you are deeply aligned with internally. You're not passively experiencing life. You're actively shaping it, whether you consciously acknowledge it or not. This is why so many individuals feel as though they are relentlessly struggling against reality, yet never truly progressing. It's not due to a lack of willpower, it's because their energy is fragmented, misdirected, and clouded by subconscious thoughts, unresolved emotional burdens, and years of internal discord. The signal they project is blurred, and therefore the field reflects back a distorted image. The Hermetic principles make one thing abundantly clear. Your breath, your focus, and your emotions are not merely personal attributes. They are potent tools. They are powerful signal modulators. The Corpus Hermeticum doesn't demand you subscribe to some esoteric belief system. It reveals that this force is already perpetually in motion, and you are intrinsically connected to it. The challenge lies in the fact that you were never taught how to harness its power until now. Certain aspects of this ancient system are too nuanced to articulate fully here, but we delve into them extensively within our exclusive newsletter, The Hermetic Navigator. Subscribe via the link below to receive your complimentary copy of the Kabbalion while it's still available. The inherent power of this knowledge lies not in granting you power, but in reminding you of the immense power you already possess. And once you awaken to this realization, the systems that thrive on your unconscious compliance begin to crumble. Energy is not optional. It's not a matter of belief. It's a fundamental current that's perpetually flowing. And the only distinction between those who feel trapped and those who appear to effortlessly manifest their desires is simple. Some are transmitting haphazardly, while others are broadcasting with conscious design. There's a profound reason why the Corpus Hermeticum was concealed beneath layers of symbolism, mysticism, and centuries of misinterpretation. It wasn't because the knowledge was irrelevant. It was because it was exceptionally effective, incredibly direct. It taught individuals how to interact with the world not through brute force, religious dogma, or political maneuvering, but through the nuanced, structured command of energy. And if you can master this skill, if you can learn to guide the current that shapes the very fabric of reality, you no longer require permission from any external system to live authentically. That's what rendered it so dangerous, not only to the doctrines of its era, but to the institutions that continue to benefit from your energetic ignorance today. Concealed within the Hermetic texts is a profound map, not a geographical map, but a map of perception itself. It reveals that reality is not fixed, but fluid, malleable in the hands of those who comprehend its hidden mechanisms. And those mechanisms originate not in the external world, but within the internal one. The ancient Hermeticists were not passive contemplators. They were architects of the unseen realm. They believed that every human being was a microcosm of the universe itself, and that by aligning the microcosm, your body, your mind, your emotional field, you could directly influence the macrocosm. What is above is like what is below. What is within is reflected without. This isn't a metaphorical concept, it's a fundamental principle of mechanics. The Hermetic path is one of harmonious alignment, not ascetic denial. You don't need to withdraw from the world, you need to engage with it through a refined vibrational frequency. And that journey commences with a comprehensive understanding of your own energetic system. Hermetic teachings portray the human being as a triune entity, body, soul, and divine spark. These are not disparate elements, but interconnected layers through which energy flows continuously. The body serves as the vessel, the soul acts as the conductor, the spark, the nous, functions as the director. When all three are in harmonious coherence, energy flows freely and unimpeded through you. When one is fractured or stagnant, distortions are introduced into the energetic field. This is why so many individuals experience a sense of fragmentation in their lives. They are assailed by conflicting thoughts, tormented by conflicting emotions, and confined by physical tension. Their energetic field becomes noisy, chaotic, and disconnected from their true intentions. They yearn to create meaningful change, but their projected signal is hopelessly scrambled. Hermeticism elucidates that you cannot effectively influence the field around you until the current within you is properly aligned. Alignment is not a moral imperative, it's a matter of energetic precision. It's not about striving to be inherently good, it's about cultivating absolute clarity. And here's what is most frequently overlooked. The Corpus Hermeticum never advocated for passive acceptance. It doesn't implore you to surrender your will to some nebulous cosmic order. It instructs you to refine your will until it becomes indistinguishable from the divine order itself. You don't passively await alignment. You actively cultivate it, thought by thought, breath by breath, moment by moment. And as your internal signal becomes progressively coherent, reality begins to respond not in a symbolic sense, but in tangible form. That's what this ancient text encodes. It's not a theoretical exploration of reality, it's a practical training manual. It reveals that the universe is responsive, not merely reactive, and that you, as a conscious being, possess the innate capacity to engage with it intentionally, not through the force of belief, but through the power of focused attention. Not through strenuous effort, but through refined vibrational frequency. The reason this text was suppressed was never because it contained falsehoods. It was because it rendered intermediaries obsolete. Everything you've ever encountered, every opportunity, relationship, setback, and seemingly random coincidence wasn't arbitrary. It was shaped by an energetic field you were unaware of influencing, because whether you recognize it or not, you are constantly broadcasting in this very moment. As you listen to these words, your energetic system is emitting a unique signal, not metaphorically, but literally. Your thoughts are not trapped within the confines of your skull. Your emotions are not private, contained experiences. Every internal state you inhabit generates ripples throughout your energetic field. The ancient Hermeticists understood this not as poetic musings, but as a principle of unwavering precision. What you consciously focus your attention upon, you energize, and what you energize begins to coalesce into tangible form. Attention is not merely mental focus. It's a potent form of energetic transmission. It directs the flow of energy, organizes subtle forces, and ultimately defines the contours of your manifested reality. This is precisely why, when your attention is fragmented, perpetually flitting between anxieties, distractions, and perceived obligations, your external life invariably mirrors that fragmentation. You attempt to manifest clarity, but your signal is diffuse. You desire meaningful change, but your energetic field is hopelessly tangled. The Hermetic path begins with the fundamental understanding that attention is a sacred currency of immense value. You expend it constantly. The critical question is, are you consciously investing it with deliberate intention, or are you unknowingly leaking it away without realizing the consequences? This is the precarious state in which the vast majority of individuals exist, utterly oblivious to their energetic broadcast. They believe they are simply reacting to the circumstances of life, when in reality, life is constantly reacting to them. Their manifested reality is not random, it's intricately patterned, and that pattern is a self-perpetuating feedback loop generated by their prevailing internal state. If your mind is besieged by persistent doubt, if your emotional field is saturated with unresolved resentment, if your breath is shallow and erratic, what type of signal do you believe your energetic field is projecting into the world? What kind of reality do you anticipate the field to reflect back to you? Hermeticism doesn't leave this crucial question ambiguous. It offers a direct, actionable approach to restructuring that signal. First, it elucidates that thought is not a private, inconsequential experience. It's a tangible vibration, one that, when repeatedly reinforced and imbued with emotional charge, begins to crystallize into a persistent structure. That's how deeply ingrained beliefs are formed, and those unexamined beliefs in turn become the very architecture of your reality, an energetic scaffolding that dictates what you can and cannot access. The majority of individuals unknowingly inhabit invisible prisons constructed from limiting thoughts they didn't consciously choose. They harbor deeply ingrained beliefs about their inherent worth, their potential, their perceived limitations, not because those beliefs are intrinsically true, but because they were repeatedly reinforced until their energetic field adapted to them. The Corpus Hermeticum completely reverses this dynamic. It reveals that your internal world is not merely a passive mirror reflecting reality, it's the fundamental blueprint upon which reality is constructed. When you consciously begin to clear your energetic field, when you breathe with mindful awareness, when you consciously direct your focus towards a singular, coherent intention, your external life begins to reorganize in response. Seemingly insurmountable obstacles dissolve, timing aligns perfectly, and opportunities materialize effortlessly, not because you are inherently lucky, but because you are consciously transmitting a vibrational frequency that reality can readily recognize and reflect. This isn't fanciful wishful thinking. It's the practical application of energetic coherence. It's why visualization is not merely a frivolous fantasy, it's a potent form of energetic instruction. When you vividly hold a clear mental image, infused with emotional charge and firmly anchored by focused attention, you are actively transmitting precise instructions into the energetic field. The clearer and more detailed the image, the stronger the projected signal, and the stronger the signal, the more readily the field will respond. It doesn't always manifest in the precise form you initially envisioned, but it will invariably align with the underlying vibrational frequency you authentically broadcasted. This is why focused attention is paramount. It's not about relentlessly striving for positive thinking. It's about consciously constructing a new energetic architecture. Your life, as it currently exists, is the direct echo of what you have been transmitting into the field, consciously or unconsciously. And the instant you assume conscious responsibility for that signal, the very structure of your reality begins to subtly shift. You transition from operating on autopilot to consciously designing your experiences, from unknowingly leaking energy to deliberately commanding its flow. And the energetic field surrounding you listens intently not to your spoken words, not even to your conscious desires, but to the prevailing vibrational frequency you hold when no one is watching. You cannot effectively shape the flow of energy if you are constantly harboring internal static, and presently the vast majority of individuals are. That invisible weight, that pervasive brain fog, those sudden emotional crashes that seemingly arise without a discernible cause, these are not inherent personality quirks. They are symptomatic of a neglected and unmaintained energetic field. Your energetic system is absorbing far more than you consciously realize. Every room you enter, every conversation you engage in, every casual scroll through social media exposes you to a multitude of subtle vibrational frequencies. Some frequencies uplift you, while the vast majority silently drain you. And if you lack the awareness and tools to cleanse them, they don't simply dissipate, they accumulate and persist. Energy, by its very nature, tends to be sticky. It clings to unresolved emotions, unspoken tensions, and even unacknowledged thoughts. And the longer it remains within your energetic system, the more it distorts your perception, dulls your intuitive faculties, and fragments your projected signal. This is why consistent energetic cleansing is not an optional practice. It's not merely spiritual hygiene, it's essential for energetic survival. Ancient Hermetic practitioners understood this implicitly. They weren't simply meditating in tranquil silence to attain peace of mind. They were actively clearing their energetic field to create space for clear, unobstructed transmission. Energetic cleansing commences with conscious breath, not simply breathing deeply, but breathing with unwavering attention. Every conscious exhale becomes an intentional act of release. When performed with unwavering intention, even a single breath can effectively shift the flow of energy, but when combined with a vivid visualization, picturing dark smoke leaving your body, a gray mist exiting your mouth, you create a simple yet potent ritual. When you add the element of water, the effect deepens significantly. Salt baths, cold showers, and immersion in natural bodies of water all serve as potent energetic reset points, not because the water itself possesses inherent magical properties, but because your body recognizes it as a powerful conduit for consciously letting go. But once your energetic field is thoroughly cleansed, the next crucial question arises. How do you effectively protect it? How do you keep other people's energetic residue out of your personal space without becoming isolated and disconnected from the world? That's where the practice of energetic shielding comes into play. Again, this isn't merely a metaphor. It's a practical technique. Visualize a sphere of radiant light expanding outward from your core, a sphere that is brilliantly clear, undeniably strong, and utterly impenetrable. Consciously hold that image. Allow it to be felt, not just visually perceived. The more consistently you practice this, the more readily your energetic system adapts. Your personal energy begins to naturally contour around your conscious intention. Boundaries are no longer something you must laboriously enforce with words. They are felt on an energetic level before you even enter a room. Energetic protection, however, is only half of the equation, because no matter how clear your energetic field may be, no matter how strong your shield is, life will inevitably present you with situations of energetic density. Fear, sadness, conflict, these experiences are unavoidable aspects of the human condition. And when they arise, the conscious Hermetic practitioner doesn't attempt to suppress them, they skillfully transmute them. This is the essence of energetic alchemy, transforming heaviness into clarity, anger into purposeful action, and fear into potent fuel. You don't attempt to escape energy, you consciously reassign its purpose. Visualize a golden flame burning steadily at your solar plexus, unwavering and unshakable. Consciously feed it your emotional density. Watch as it burns, refines, and transforms. What emerges is fundamentally different from what was initially introduced. That's precisely the point. This is the forgotten art of inner mastery. Not bypassing emotions, but skillfully redirecting their flow. Not suppressing negativity, but consciously reconfiguring its form, because in its essence, energy is fundamentally neutral. What we colloquially refer to as bad energy is simply misaligned energy. Energy that is either in the wrong place or has been held for an excessive duration. But once you master the art of cleansing your energetic field, shielding yourself from external influences, and transmuting the residual density, you become something few ever experience. Energetically sovereign and unshaken, not because nothing affects you, but because you possess the awareness and the tools to skillfully process and consciously direct whatever does. That's the enduring wisdom the ancient texts were diligently attempting to impart. Not how to escape the trials of life, but how to navigate them without internal distortion. Your thoughts are not private, inconsequential events. You've been subtly led to believe that your thoughts are confined to the interior of your mind, that they are intangible mental processes existing in isolation. But Hermeticism never treated thought as passive or inconsequential. According to the ancient texts, thought is structure. It is energy in blueprint form. Every thought that is repeatedly entertained begins to imprint itself upon your energetic field, like a groove etched onto a vinyl record. And over time, those grooves subtly determine how energy flows through your life, what readily manifests, what remains elusive, where momentum naturally builds and where it invariably stalls. The average individual experiences thousands of thoughts per day, the majority of which are recycled from the day before, persistent loops of comparison, worry, fantasy, and harsh judgment. And because they are habitual and deeply ingrained, they no longer register as conscious choices. They are perceived as mere background noise. But the energetic field doesn't perceive them as inconsequential noise. It interprets them as active instructions. That's the silent trap. You are constantly issuing commands to reality, even when you don't consciously intend to, and especially when you don't. Hermetic teachings pierce through this pervasive illusion with a clarity that is almost jarringly uncomfortable. If your life feels stagnant, scattered, or misaligned, your prevailing thought field is likely the primary source, not your external circumstances, not the individuals surrounding you, but the vibrational signature your thoughts are consistently imprinting into the energetic field, moment by moment. And that signature isn't determined by what you consciously desire. It's based on what you consistently and subconsciously hold as true. This is why conscious visualization, when practiced properly, is far more than a superficial daydream. It's a deliberate form of energetic coding. When you visualize with authentic emotional charge and unwavering coherent intention, you are actively transmitting a structured vibrational frequency into the energetic field, not desperately begging for specific outcomes, not attempting to manifest through sheer force of will, but deliberately informing the space around you with a new energetic pattern. And when that pattern is consistently repeated, particularly during altered states of consciousness, such as focused breathwork, deep meditation, or even the hypnagogic state just before falling asleep, it begins to fundamentally reshape the architecture of your energetic field. And the field, in turn, responds accordingly. But this powerful process only works effectively when your internal world is sufficiently clear to consistently hold the desired signal. If your mind is cluttered with internal contradiction, if you consciously profess to desire peace but are constantly entertaining anxious thoughts, if you yearn for abundance but are mentally preparing for lack, then your projected signal becomes inherently split. One vibrational frequency cancels out the other, and the field returns nothing but energetic static. This is not a form of cosmic punishment. It's a precise reflection of energetic principles. The energetic field doesn't deliver what you superficially want. It delivers what you are energetically coherent with. This is precisely why mental discipline isn't about relentlessly suppressing negative thoughts. It's about consciously choosing which energetic patterns you wish to repeatedly reinforce. It's not about avoiding all forms of negativity at all costs. It's about fundamentally understanding that your mind is a constant transmitter, and that each thought you entertain is a specific vibrational frequency being amplified by the power of your emotions. If the thoughts you are habitually carrying are laden with fear, resentment, or lingering shame, that's the precise data being transmitted into the field. And that's precisely what will be echoed back to you, not because the universe is inherently cruel, but because it operates with unwavering precision. When Hermetic masters spoke of purification, they weren't referring to moral purity, they were referring to vibrational clarity. Thoughts that are unclouded by internal contradiction, emotions that are held without distortion, a mind that is simultaneously still and intentionally focused, capable of generating clear, coherent vibrational frequencies that ripple outward and take tangible form. This is what it truly means to be a conscious engineer of your reality, not simply passively observing your thoughts, but actively choosing them with the same deliberate care you would employ to meticulously construct a house or compose a piece of music. Because that's precisely what you are doing every moment of every day. You are composing the energetic field with your internal vibrational frequency. The only pertinent question is, are you composing energetic noise or harmonious resonance? It's easy to fall prey to the seductive belief that the power resides in the external tools, that the crystal inherently holds a specific vibrational frequency, that the ritual will magically create the desired shift, that the symbol will effortlessly unlock the hidden door, that if you can simply find the right chant, the perfect altar, or the most ancient talisman, something external to you will finally flip the switch and grant you the power you seek. This pervasive belief has been carefully and strategically marketed to you. Spirituality packaged and sold like technology, enticing you with promises of more gadgets, greater access, and enhanced power. But the Corpus Hermeticum reveals a fundamentally different truth. It declares that the tool, in and of itself, accomplishes nothing. It can amplify, reflect, and echo the underlying energy, but it does not generate it. You alone are responsible for that. That truth is inherently inconvenient for those who profit from selling you the opposite narrative. Because once you realize that the true source of your influence resides in your own state of consciousness, you cease outsourcing your power to external entities. You stop searching for the next quick fix, and you begin engaging in the more challenging, yet ultimately more rewarding, work of refining the only instrument that truly matters: your own energetic system. That's the essence of Hermeticism, an inner technology that empowers you to take conscious control. It reveals that your body is the altar, your focused attention is the ritual, and your unwavering will is the wand. Symbols, crystals, and sound, these are not inherently magical in and of themselves. They are primarily vibrational frequency anchors. They only function effectively in direct proportion to the clarity and unwavering intention of the individual utilizing them. A quartz crystal in the hands of someone who is scattered and unfocused will do nothing more than collect dust, but in the hands of someone who is centered, aligned, and consciously directing energy with precision, it becomes a potent tuning fork, a powerful energetic conductor, but not a generator. The tool remains the same, but the resultant output is entirely different. Why? Because the vibrational frequency originates from you. Even a meticulously crafted ritual, when devoid of genuine presence, becomes mere theater, a hollow performance that might superficially feel sacred, but ultimately moves no authentic energy. But when the ritual is performed with unwavering awareness, when the movements are infused with deliberate breath, focused thought, and authentic emotional charge, it becomes more than just a performance. It transforms into potent, energetic architecture, consciously shaping the unseen forces. This is why ancient Hermetic practitioners dedicated as much time and energy to preparing their minds as they did to preparing the physical space, because without internal clarity, external tools become useless dead weight. You see, the vast majority of individuals attempt to fix their lives by fixing what's external to them. They rearrange their furniture, change their jobs, and swap out their relationships, hoping for a different outcome. And sometimes these superficial changes may offer temporary relief, but the energetic field doesn't respond to cosmetic shifts. It responds to authentic energetic resonance. And authentic resonance is fundamentally an inside job. If your energetic system is inherently incoherent, nothing external to you will bring about lasting alignment. You can surround yourself with sacred geometry, adorn yourself with every known protective stone, burn rare and exotic herbs, and still feel internally foggy, scattered, and fundamentally stuck because the tool is not the source of your power. This truth isn't intended to diminish the inherent beauty and value of external tools. It's intended to elevate your role in the creative process, to remind you that when you consciously hold a symbol, it's not the specific ink, metal, or stone that truly matters. It's the profound meaning you intentionally charge it with. When you chant a sacred phrase or light a candle, it's not the action itself that creates the shift. It's your unwavering state of consciousness that activates its inherent power. The underlying Hermetic principle is simple. Energy invariably follows focused attention, and focused attention, when coherent, consciously shapes the energetic field, not the other way around. This is the fundamental shift that the majority of individuals never successfully make. They diligently collect tools, meticulously memorize incantations, and acquire books filled with esoteric spells, but they never cultivate the essential internal voltage required to effectively power any of it. The reality is, all these external tools are simply training wheels. They're helpful reminders, not mandatory requirements. You consciously utilize them until you no longer need them, until you can comfortably sit in profound stillness. Close your eyes, align your breath, and consciously shape your energy without relying on any physical objects. That's when your energetic system is truly online. That's when the tools become extensions of your power, not crutches you desperately rely on. That's when the game fundamentally changes. They never explicitly told you that your physical body was sacred. They told you it was a mere vehicle at best, a machine composed of flesh and blood to be endlessly worked, relentlessly sculpted, perpetually shamed, or conveniently ignored. But in Hermetic thought, the body isn't a secondary consideration, it's absolutely central. It is not simply a container for the spirit, it is the very embodiment of spirit in motion. It's the most precise, most responsive, and most magical instrument you will ever touch. And when you consciously learn to move your body with intention, you're not simply engaging in physical exercise, you're transmitting a powerful vibrational signal. You've encountered subtle hints of this truth in various practices like yoga, tai chi, and martial arts, ancient systems consciously built around the dynamic interplay of intentional breath, heightened awareness, and purposeful movement. But long before they were formalized as codified systems, they existed as fundamental principles. And these principles subtly echo throughout the Corpus Hermeticum without explicitly requiring you to contort your body into complex poses. The Hermetic perspective is elegantly simple. When you move your body with conscious breath, you are actively shaping energy. You are becoming the ritual itself. You're not merely casting a spell, you are the spell. Every conscious gesture becomes a broadcast. Every intentional posture, a powerful statement. When you consciously stretch, twist, bend, or rise with unwavering awareness, your energetic field responds in kind. Muscles aren't simply composed of inert tissue. They're potent storage units. They hold suppressed memories, unresolved emotions, and blocked energetic charge. This is why conscious movement isn't simply a means of physical release. It's a powerful form of energetic discharge. Have you ever experienced an unexpected surge of tears during a particularly deep stretch? That wasn't a sign of weakness. That was unprocessed data actively leaving your physical body. Because intentional motion is the fundamental language your nervous system innately speaks when mere words fall short. But the key distinction between movement as a mere form of escapism and movement as a transformative ritual is conscious awareness. Mindless movement ultimately leaks valuable energy. It's why individuals can engage in strenuous workouts and still feel strangely empty and unfulfilled. But when intentional breath leads the way, when focused attention is finely tuned, when the spine becomes a clear channel for energetic flow, and when the heart becomes a potent center of radiating power, suddenly your body is no longer just burning calories. It's consciously shaping your vibrational frequency. You walk differently. You hold space differently. You no longer enter a room and passively hope to blend in. You actively pulse a distinct energetic signal, and other individuals can sense it before you even speak. This is the profound lesson that Hermeticism imparts. Beneath the layers of symbolism, the physical body is not an obstacle to your energetic work. It is the primary pathway through which it is expressed. Your gait, your stillness, your deliberate gestures, they all communicate a language that the energetic field intuitively understands. And when they are consciously aligned with intentional breath and focused thought, they amplify your energetic broadcast tenfold. This is why skilled dancers can move an audience to tears without uttering a single word, and why a martial artist in a state of complete flow appears virtually untouchable. They've consciously tuned their physical expression to resonate with something far greater than mere muscle memory. They've transformed themselves into powerful transmission towers. When you move with unwavering purpose, you're not just working your physical body, you're actively clearing internal static. Every intentional movement is a sweeping gesture, a conscious purge, a recalibration of your energetic system. Shaking, swaying, jumping, spiraling, these aren't arbitrary movements, they're encoded with primal energetic significance. And when performed with deliberate breath and unwavering presence, they unlock blocked channels. They clear trapped energy that talk therapy alone cannot effectively reach. They move what logic alone cannot possibly address. This is also why proper posture is so critical. It's not simply about projecting an air of confidence, it's about consciously structuring your energetic field. Slouched, closed posture compresses your breath, collapses your energy field, and subtly communicates to the energetic field, I am small. Upright, open posture frees your diaphragm, expands your physical presence, and clearly communicates to the energetic field, I am here. It's not a matter of ego, it's a principle of vibrational geometry. In the Hermetic tradition, the physical body was never regarded as separate from the energetic work. It was revered as the living altar, the moving wand, the embodied sigil. And when you truly realize that profound truth, everything subtly shifts. Movement ceases to be a mundane act. You don't need a dedicated yoga mat or a sacred temple. You simply need focused attention. Walk with conscious breath and unwavering clarity, and the very ground beneath your feet becomes sacred. Stand still with unwavering intention, and the entire room around you subtly rearranges itself. The fundamental question isn't whether you are actively moving energy. You already are, constantly. The critical question is, are you moving it by conscious design or by unconscious default? You are not inherently unlucky. You are not afflicted by some nebulous curse. And the circumstances of your life are not determined by random chance. The truth is far more challenging to accept, yet ultimately far more liberating. You are experiencing precisely what your energetic field is broadcasting. Every relationship, every opportunity, every perceived block, and every transformative breakthrough is mirroring back to you an energetic pattern that already exists within the very structure of your energetic system. And once you clearly recognize this undeniable truth, you are presented with only two possible choices. Deny it and remain powerless, or embrace it and consciously begin to engineer your reality with purposeful intention. This is the brutal beauty of Hermeticism. It removes the comfortable cushion of blame. It dissolves the pervasive illusion that life is simply happening to you. Instead, it unequivocally reveals that life is actively happening through you, because of you, not because of your personality, not because of your conscious intentions, but because of your overall energetic alignment. It's not about whether you consciously engage in positive thinking. It's about whether your underlying internal frequency is coherent, consistent, and genuinely congruent with what you outwardly claim to desire. That's the truly challenging part. You can outwardly desire abundance, but if your energetic field is shaped by scarcity and fear, you will never truly experience it, not because you are inherently undeserving, but because the underlying mechanics of energy are inherently precise. The vast majority of individuals live in a state of persistent, energetic contradiction. They verbally profess to desire love, but they continue to carry unhealed wounds of past betrayal. They claim to desire a purposeful life, but they consistently suppress their authentic voice. They yearn for transformative change, but they remain stubbornly trapped in survival mode. These internal splits fundamentally fracture their projected signal, and fractured signals inevitably create chaotic outcomes. That's not a matter of bad luck. That's simply the predictable result of energetic physics. The Corpus Hermeticum doesn't attempt to sugarcoat this harsh reality. It makes it abundantly clear. As within, so without. As above, so below. Your energetic field is the very architecture of your existence. Your manifested reality simply follows its lead. But here's what fundamentally changes everything. Your energetic field is not a fixed entity. It's fundamentally programmable. Every conscious breath, every intentionally chosen thought, every deliberate act begins to subtly reshape it. And the more coherence you deliberately cultivate within your energetic system, mind, emotion, body, breath, the more profoundly your external life will begin to reflect that internal alignment, not instantaneously, but inevitably, because reality is not reacting to your superficial wishful thinking. It's responding to the dominant vibrational frequency you consistently carry when no one is watching. This is why authentic healing isn't just an emotional process, it's a mechanical one. When you consciously release old wounds, you don't simply feel lighter. You actively remove specific frequency distortions from your energetic field. When you consciously stop replaying mental loops of self-doubt, you free up the energy that was previously trapped, feeding those unproductive neural circuits. When you consciously reclaim your breath, you reoxygenate your entire energetic signal. It's all interconnected. Nothing is merely symbolic. Everything is profoundly structural. The fundamental transition from a passive victim to a conscious engineer of your reality begins with one brutally honest question. What ingrained energetic patterns am I still unconsciously loyal to? Not on a superficial level, but within your habitual reactions, your underlying beliefs, and your persistent inner dialogue, because your energetic field never lies. You can recite affirmations all day long, but if your nervous system remains in a state of persistent fear, the field will inevitably amplify that fear. And if your actions don't consistently align with your professed beliefs, your overall vibration will fundamentally fragment. Energy has no inherent interest in your carefully chosen words. It simply follows your overall energetic alignment. This is the critical point that the majority of individuals fundamentally miss when they attempt to consciously manifest a desired outcome. They attempt to trick the energetic field, plastering smiles on their faces while grinding their teeth, and meticulously posting vision boards while remaining trapped in limiting energetic cycles. But the energetic field cannot be fooled. It can only be met with unwavering honesty. And when you finally align deeply, consistently, and completely, reality doesn't require any convincing. It simply responds automatically, because you're no longer merely requesting, you're actively radiating. You've become the tuning fork itself. Here's the undeniable truth. The moment you consciously begin designing your internal world with unwavering intention, the external world has no choice but to rearrange itself in response. You don't beg for transformative change. You become the very vibrational frequency that inherently demands it. That's when life begins to consciously work with you, not against you, not because you cleverly hacked some hidden system, but because you remembered that you are the system. You've always been the current, the circuit, and the conductor all along. Now you simply have to start acting accordingly. The ultimate truth isn't buried in some remote monastery or encoded in ancient hieroglyphs. It's readily available to you, written into the very design of your own being. You are the medium, the conductor, and the force itself. Every time you seek permission, validation, or some external sign that you are allowed to live in authentic alignment, you unwittingly relinquish your own inherent power. But what if the most profound Hermetic lesson wasn't about magic gods or arcane secrets? What if it was simply this? The energetic current is already flowing through you right now. You don't need to summon it. You simply need to consciously stop blocking it. The pervasive system has subtly trained you to believe that power is somehow complicated, that you need specialized credentials, a prestigious spiritual lineage, and a meticulously structured 10-step program, that mastery is something you only attain after years of faithfully following someone else's predetermined rules. But energy doesn't inherently respect artificial hierarchy. It inherently respects authentic coherence. The energetic field doesn't concern itself with your background, your professed beliefs, or your perceived failures. It focuses solely on your prevailing signal. Are you clear in your intention? Are you energetically aligned? Are you broadcasting a vibrational frequency that is genuinely congruent with your deepest truth? Living as a conscious force means letting go of the performative aspect. It means consciously ceasing to do things simply to appear powerful, spiritual, or successful, and instead choosing to embody those qualities authentically. It's a subtle distinction. You consciously stop over-explaining yourself. You consciously stop striving to prove your worth. You walk into a room and your authentic presence communicates far more effectively than your words ever could, because when you are in genuine alignment, reality begins to speak directly through you, not in fleeting moments of coincidence, but in sustained patterns of undeniable clarity, seamless flow, and immediate energetic response. Hermeticism never promised you comfort. It promised you inherent sovereignty. And that is something the modern world inherently fears, because truly sovereign individuals don't make compliant consumers. They don't seek external validation through extravagant price tags or artfully filtered social media posts. They don't require gurus. They don't outsource their inherent knowing. And that kind of individual, that kind of self-empowered being, is inherently dangerous to a system predicated on external control. So the pertinent question is this. Are you willing to consciously let go of who the system has subtly conditioned you to be in order to fully become who you are already meant to be underneath it all? Are you truly ready to live in a way that is no longer contingent on the opinions, rules, or external approval of others? because that's where the energetic current fundamentally resides within your raw, unfiltered, and uncommoditized essence. It's been there all along, subtly humming beneath the pervasive noise, patiently awaiting your return. This isn't about rebelling so to sum it all up, the power to shape your reality isn't some far-off mystical concept. It's an inherent ability you already possess, woven into the very fabric of your being. By understanding and consciously directing your energy, you can move from unconsciously reacting to life to deliberately designing it. It's about remembering the immense potential that resides within you and embracing the conscious path of creating a life aligned with your deepest truth. I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this. Do any of these ideas resonate with you? Have you experienced the power of energy in your own life? Leave a comment below, ask a question, or just join the discussion. And if this resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future explorations of these fascinating topics. Thanks for joining me on this journey of self-discovery.